The boy's name was Aaron. He was just 8 years old when the accident happened. His family was traveling on a research ship through deep space, looking for new planets. His parents were scientists, always busy with machines and reports. Aaron didn't care much about science. He liked stories, drawings, and stars. He would often sit near the window, dreaming about faraway worlds. But one day, everything changed. A sudden alarm rang through the ship. Red lights flashed. The voice on the speaker shouted, "Emergency landing." Before Aaron could understand anything, the ship shook violently. Then everything went dark. When he woke up, he was alone. His parents were gone. The ship was broken in pieces. And the forest around him was full of strange trees and glowing plants. The air was warm, but it smelled different from Earth. The sky had two suns, and the night was never truly dark. Aaron wandered the forest, scared and hungry. He called for help, but no one answered. Strange sounds came from the bushes. Glowing eyes watched him from the shadows. He was sure he wouldn't survive the night. But then she appeared. She stepped out from the trees. Her skin was a soft blue, and her hair floated like it was underwater. Her eyes glowed like tiny stars. She looked his age, maybe a little older. She didn't speak at first, just looked at him with curiosity. Aaron backed away afraid, but she smiled. Then she pointed to herself and said, "Leary, Leary." He repeated, confused. She nodded, then she pointed to him. Aaron hesitated, then said, "Aaron." From that moment, something changed. Leary led him to a quiet cave by a stream. She gave him fruits that glowed gently in the dark, and water that tasted like sweet berries. She showed him how to hide from the flying creatures that hunted at night. She even taught him how to listen to the forest, to know when danger was near. They didn't speak the same language, but slowly they found ways to understand each other through pictures, hand signs, and feelings. Aaron began to learn her words, and she learned his. They became friends. Two children from different worlds, alone but not lonely anymore. Days turned into weeks. Aaron stopped crying at night. He started to laugh again. He played with Leary by the waterfall, drew pictures in the sand, and learned about the strange animals of her world. Leary showed him a special flower that sang when the wind blew. He told her stories about Earth, about oceans and rain and chocolate. One evening, while they sat watching the stars, Aaron turned to her and said, "When I grow up, I'll marry you." Leary tilted her head, not understanding fully. "It means I'll stay with you forever," Aaron explained. "I'll protect you always." Leary looked at him for a long time. Then she touched her forehead to his. "Promise." She whispered. "Promise," Aaron said, smiling, but fate had other plans. That same night, a bright light appeared in the sky. A rescue ship had finally found the crash signal. They landed near the forest, calling his name. Aaron was torn. He didn't want to leave Leary, but the humans insisted. They thought she was dangerous. They pulled him away, telling him it was just a dream, a trick of the planet. He screamed, called out her name, but Leary was gone, hidden in the trees, watching him leave. He tried to tell them about her, but no one believed him. The doctors said he was confused. His brain protecting itself after trauma, the memories faded slowly, and the promise he made was buried deep in his heart. Years passed, Earth moved on, and Aaron? He forgot the glowing girl, the singing flower, and the night he promised forever under alien stars. But Leary never forgot. She waited in the same cave, by the same stream, watching the stars each night, hoping one day the boy would return. They called him a hero, but he never felt like one. At 23, Aaron wore a black uniform, cold metal boots, and a badge with the Earth Alliance symbol. He flew ships faster than sound and spoke 10 alien languages. He was trained to fight, survive, and follow orders without asking why. But every night, in the silence of space, a dream returned. A blue light, soft laughter, two glowing eyes watching him from behind golden leaves, and a voice so faint calling his name. Aaron. He always woke up. Before he could answer back, then he sat alone in the dark, heart racing. Wondering why this dream felt more real than any memory, he had no answers. The doctors had told him years ago he had been in a shipwreck as a child, lost for over a month on a wild alien planet. He was found weak, dehydrated, almost silent. His memories were broken, and to protect his mind, they erased most of them. Too much trauma, they said. The brain forgets to survive. But what if the dream wasn't a dream? What if it was something he was supposed to remember? Aaron never spoke about it. He focused on training, missions, war games. He flew between moons and guarded Earth's borders. He was fast, sharp, and loyal. A perfect soldier, but inside, a small voice kept asking, who was she? One day, the command center called him in. Aaron Black, the officer said. You're being assigned to the Zaros Border Patrol. He blinked. Zaros. That's the outer edge of alien space. Exactly, the officer said. There's a new empire rising there. They're powerful, secretive, and expanding fast. And they've asked for one thing me. Aaron asked, confused, they know your name. They requested you by face, by history. They said it's time to return what was promised. Aaron felt cold. A chill ran through his spine like someone had whispered into his soul. He wanted to say no, but part of him needed to go. Something was pulling him there. Not with force, but with memory, with feeling. The ship took off that night. Heading for the stars at the edge of known space, he sat alone in his cabin, staring at an old drawing he'd found in his old box, a child's sketch. A cave, a girl with starry eyes, a boy smiling next to her, a flower with music lines above it. He didn't know when he had drawn it, but his hand had known the shapes, his heart had known the smile, and suddenly he whispered, Leary. He didn't know where the name came from, but when he said it, he felt warm, like a missing piece had clicked back into place. The planet they were sent to was called Thalor, a name that didn't exist in Earth records until last year, covered in mist. Jungle and light, it had one city, one ruler, a queen, unknown, untouchable, and strangely patient. Aaron looked out the window as the planet came into view, and in the clouds, for just a second, he saw a face, blue skin, silver eyes. Watching him from above the mountains, was it his mind playing tricks, or was she waiting for him? As the ship landed, the captain gave him orders. Stay sharp, don't trust anyone. We don't know what they want from you. Aaron nodded, but his mind was far away. He stepped onto the alien soil, his boots sinking softly into glowing moss. The air smelled familiar, sweet, warm, like berries and wild rain, and deep in his chest, something old began to wake. Not fear, not duty, but memory. The kind of memory that speaks through dreams. The kind that survives even when everything else is erased. She hadn't forgotten, and now neither had he. The stars looked peaceful from above, but peace is only an illusion when fire hides behind the light. Aaron stood on the deck of the Earth Alliance warship, Orion, staring at the distant planet Thalor. To most, it was just another alien world, unknown and dangerous, but to him felt like something sacred. Like the edge of a forgotten story, the mission was simple. First contact, high alert. Prepare for possible conflict. But everyone in the control room knew the truth. Earth was ready for war. The alien empire that had risen on Thalor had spread fast. 3 star systems had already submitted without a fight. No blood, no screams, just silence and a single message sent to all human channels. We are not enemies. We seek the one who made the promise. The command didn't care about old words or strange messages. They saw it as a trick, so they sent their strongest fleet. With weapons charged and warnings ready, and at the center of it all stood Aaron. He didn't ask for this. He didn't remember making a promise, but something inside him whispered otherwise. Every dream, every quiet memory from childhood led him here the moment he stepped onto the bridge. The ship's come screen lit up, an incoming signal from the alien queen herself. "Put it on," the captain said, his hand resting near the weapon console. The screen flickered, static, buzzed. Then her face appeared. Aaron's breath caught in his chest. She hadn't changed, not really. Her skin still glowed like soft moonlight. Her silver eyes looked through him, not at him. Her voice was calm. Music, almost like a memory calling from across the years. "Hello, Aaron Black," she said, her accent strange yet gentle. "You have returned." Gasps filled the room. The captain frowned. "How does she know your name?" Aaron couldn't speak. He was frozen. Like time had wrapped its arms around him and refused to let go. The Queen Lyra continued, "I am High Ruler of Thaler, Guardian of the Crystal Sky, Voice of the Forest. But to you, I was just Leary." The screen went silent. Then a new message blinked. The human boy made a promise. "We waited. We grew. We watched. Now we ask, does he remember?" The command center erupted in whispers. A promise. What promise? Aaron said nothing, but deep down his heart answered the question, yes. The Queen had sent a single ship to meet them, unarmed, glowing with ancient markings, a peaceful offer, a bridge between two powers, but Earth saw it as weakness, and they prepared to strike orders. The weapons officer asked, hands shaking over the fire command. Aaron stepped forward, slowly. "Don't." The captain turned. "Stand down, Lieutenant. That's not your call." Aaron stared at the screen, at the girl he once promised forever, and whispered, "She's not here to fight. She's here for me." No one spoke. The silence was heavy, like the air before a storm. Finally, a new message came from the Queen. "Send him alone. No weapons, no lies. One chance for peace." The captain looked at Aaron, eyes hard. "Are you seriously considering going down there alone?" Aaron didn't hesitate. Yes, and so. While the warships hovered like shadows above Thalar, one human stepped into a small shuttle. Unarmed, uncertain, and with nothing but a memory buried deep inside him as the shuttle entered the atmosphere. Aaron saw the forest again, the glowing trees, the twin suns. The river of silver light cutting through the jungle. Everything looked the same, and yet, everything was different. He was not a boy anymore, and she was not just a girl. He had come for answers, but what he would find could change the fate of two worlds. Asterisk, she sat on the throne of light, but her heart still lived in the cave by the stream. The council around her spoke of war, power, and pride. But she remembered a boy with messy hair, wide eyes, and a trembling voice that once said, "When I grow up, I'll marry you." She never forgot. They thought she was foolish, waiting for someone who left. Someone who might never return, but queens don't kneel to doubt, and hearts don't bow to time. So she waited. Now, after 15 long years, he was here, not the boy she knew, but the man he had become. And yet, when she saw him step off the shuttle, her heart whispered, he kept his promise. He came back. Aaron stood in the royal hall, his boots echoing against the crystal floor. Alien guards watched in silence, but no weapons were drawn. The walls shimmered with floating symbols. Alive like light caught in motion, everything felt too quiet, too beautiful, too familiar. Then she appeared, not from behind gold curtains or through giant doors, but walking down the stairs like a memory made real. Barefoot, graceful, dressed in white that sparkled like the night sky, Aaron didn't speak. Couldn't. Her face had changed, older, stronger, but her eyes, they were exactly the same. Silver like stars frozen in a tear. She stopped only a few feet away. Her voice soft. You have grown tall, Aaron Black. He swallowed hard. And you are a queen. She tilted her head. I became queen because someone once said he would stay forever. I waited, as promised. Aaron stepped closer, confused, haunted. Was that real? Back then? I was just a child. She nodded gently. Yes, a child. But children do not lie when they speak from the heart. He looked around, searching for logic. Why am I here? Why now? Why didn't you stop Earth from sending fleets? She answered with silence, then said, because I needed you to remember on your own. A forced return is not a fulfilled promise. Aaron looked down at his hands, trembling. I forgot. I'm sorry. Leary reached out and touched his chest lightly. But your heart remembered. That is enough. He felt the weight of everything, his training, his orders, his confusion all fall away. And all that remained was that quiet memory by a waterfall. Two children laughing, chasing glowing birds, sharing strange fruit. And a boy making a promise he didn't know would shape the stars. I came to stop a war, he whispered. You came to finish what you began. She replied, and in doing so, you may stop it. A bell rang in the distance, low and deep. The council would arrive soon. They would want answers. Action, blood, or peace. But Leary took his hand, held it gently between hers. I ask only this. Before you choose, come with me. She led him away from the throne. Down a corridor of singing walls, to a door covered in old vines and glowing flowers. He knew this place, even before she opened it. It was the cave, the same cave from years ago, untouched by time, and on the wall his drawings still remained. Crude sketches, stars, ships, a boy and a blue girl holding hands. He touched the stone with shaking fingers. I remember now, Leary smiled, tears in her eyes. I never stopped believing you would. Behind them, two worlds held their breath. Armies waited, leaders doubted, and war stood just one broken word away. But in that quiet cave, the boy who forgot, remembered, and the queen who waited finally heard his voice again. I'm sorry I left, Aaron whispered. I'm sorry you had to wait. I didn't wait, Leary said. I believed. The stars don't lie, but people do. Aaron followed her through a silent valley, where the ground pulsed like a heartbeat. Tall trees whispered above, leaves glowing with slow color. Every step felt like walking into a forgotten dream, one that had waited years to be remembered. Where are we going? He asked quietly. Leary looked ahead, her voice calm but distant, to the place where it all began. And the place where it was all erased. They walked for hours through mist and light, until they reached a mountain that seemed to hum from deep within. Carved into the stone was a door older than memory, and when Leary touched its center, it opened not with machines but with a soft sigh, like the planet itself had just woken up. Inside, the air was cool, ancient, alive. Aaron saw walls made of crystal, reflecting old images, memories floating in glass, and in the center, a tall column covered in glowing runes pulsed with blue light. This is the heart of Thalor, Leary said. It records truth, all truth, even the truth they tried to steal from you. Aaron stepped closer, unsure. What do you mean? Steal? She placed her palm on the crystal column, and the room lit up around them. Suddenly, he saw it all like a memory, unrolling across the stars. A rescue ship landing, soldiers finding him in the forest. And the moment he screamed her name as they pulled him away. But that wasn't all. He saw a dark room, doctors in white, wires on his head, and lights flashing, voices saying, Key, won't remember any of this. We can't risk a connection with that species. Erase the file, remove the girl. Aaron stumbled back, shaken. You're telling me Earth wiped my memories? On purpose? Leary nodded slowly. They saw a bond they couldn't control. You were just a child, but your heart made a promise their fear could not allow. He turned away, anger rising in his chest. They made me forget you. They made me forget me. Leary walked to a wall covered in ancient symbols. They fear what they don't understand, but the universe doesn't run on fear, Aaron. It runs on connection. On belief, on choices. Aaron looked at her, eyes burning with truth. And what if I had never come back? What would have happened? She turned to him, eyes shining. Then you would have lived a life written by others. And I would have ruled with silence in my heart. But I never gave up, because I believed the stars would carry you home. He sat on the cold floor, surrounded by truth and pain. Everything he knew was shattered. But inside, something else grew. Not anger, not guilt, but purpose. He stood, looked into her eyes. Why did you show me all this? Because the council wants war, she said. They've waited long enough. They believe your people broke the promise. But if you speak truth, your truth may still change everything. Aaron took a deep breath. Then I'll speak it. To them. To Earth. To anyone who needs to hear it. Leary smiled softly. Then the stars may still believe in us. Behind them, the crystal pulsed once more. And the ancient symbols rearranged themselves, forming two glowing figures, one human, one Thalorian, standing side by side beneath a rising star. Asterisk, two thrones, two armies, one choice. Aaron stood at the center of the Thalorian council chamber, a place carved from the bones of ancient stars. Above him, a glowing circle floated, recording every word, every breath, every heartbeat. On one side stood Leary, Queen of Thalor, calm but silent. On the other, a hologram of Earth's military leaders, cold, armored, and waiting for a single reason to open fire. Speak, said a voice from the Earth side. Why are you still down there, Lieutenant Black? Aaron's throat felt dry, because no one trained him for this. No one ever said that peace could be more terrifying than war. He glanced at Leary. She didn't move, didn't speak. But her eyes told him this moment mattered more than any battle. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. You sent me to stop a threat, he said. But what I found wasn't a threat. I found truth. And I found the girl I made a promise to 15 years ago. Murmurs echoed from both sides, disbelief and confusion. Are you saying you've gone native? A general barked. That you trust them more than your own? Aaron shook his head slowly. No, I'm saying I remember. I remember her saving me when I was lost. I remember promising to return, and I did. Not with weapons, but with truth. One of the alien counselors stepped forward, his voice deep and ancient. We have been patient for cycles. But patience is not eternal if he denies the promise. We declare him false, and war begins. Leary raised her hand gently, stopping the counselor. Let him finish, she said softly. Aaron looked between the two sides, his people and hers. Both powerful, both proud, and both ready to destroy each other over one broken connection. I am human, Aaron said, louder now, and I am loyal to Earth, but I will not lie to protect fear. You erased my memories. You made me forget the one who gave me life when I should have died. His voice cracked, but even after all that, I remembered her, not because of orders, but because a promise kept in the heart can never be erased. Silence fell like gravity, heavy and final. Then Leary stepped forward and reached out her hand. A promise made by a child, a promise remembered by a man. This is what we waited for. Aaron looked at her, then at the generals on screen. I'm not here to betray Earth, he said. I'm here to show that humanity is more than fear. That we keep our word even across galaxies. One general leaned forward, face like stone. So what are you suggesting? Aaron's voice was clear now. Steady, an alliance. no war. I fulfilled the bond I made peacefully, as promised. As one voice from both worlds, the Thalorian chamber lit up with quiet hums. The crystal walls responded, glowing in soft colors, a sign of balance, of possibility. But the Earth generals weren't convinced yet, and if we say no, one of them asked, "If we order you to return now?" Aaron stared into the lens. "Then you'll have to fire on me first." The silence after that was longer than space itself. Leary stepped beside him, her voice calm but full of power. "You see, we were never the threat. But we are ready to defend what was given in truth." In that moment, Aaron felt it, not fear, not uncertainty, but the beginning of something larger than both their worlds. Behind him, the star-shaped crystal began to shift again. Two names glowed in light. Aaron Black, Leary of Thaler, bound not by treaty, but by memory, choice, and belief. Before the stars were mapped, before humans built ships of steel, there were only promises. And promises, if real, do not break. They echo. Aaron stood beneath Thaler's twin moons, dressed in ceremonial white, no weapons, no armor, no orders. Just a boy's heart in a man's body, beating like thunder beneath his ribs. Across from him stood Leary, not in a crown, not as a queen, but as the girl who once offered him glowing fruit beside a stream, the girl who waited when the galaxy turned cold. The valley around them was filled with thousands. Thalorian citizens in silence, Earth diplomats watching from their ships above. Broadcasts sent across systems recording every word, every breath, every step, because history doesn't always begin with war. Sometimes it begins with a vow. Leary stepped forward, her eyes never leaving his. "You returned," she said. "Not as a soldier, but as the one I believed in." Aaron nodded slowly. "I forgot you. They made me forget. But even without memory, I dreamed." Of your voice, the air shimmered as the Thalorian sky flame rose behind them. A symbol of peace older than any law. The time had come. Leary reached into her robe and pulled out a small crystal. It was shaped like a heart. But not human, not smooth. It had sharp edges, glowing veins of blue light inside. "I saved this. From the day you left," she said. "It was the only thing you gave me that wasn't a promise." Aaron stared at it, then reached into his own pocket. From a pouch hidden beneath his uniform, he pulled out a worn piece of cloth, a child's. Drawing, faded, fragile, but still alive. Her eyes widened. "You kept it?" she whispered. He nodded, even when I didn't know why. Something told me it mattered. A single bell rang across the valley. It was time. They stood before the Thalorian Stone of Union, and with one hand each, placed their symbols upon it. The crystal, the cloth, memory and belief. The stone lit up, casting a glow so bright it touched the sky. Stars blinked above them, like they too were watching. Waiting, believing. "I'm not here to be your ruler," Aaron said to the crowd, his voice echoing. "I'm not here as a conqueror or a savior. I'm here as someone who made a promise and kept it." Leary turned to face her people. "You see now, this is the human we trusted. Not because he was strong, but because he was true, above them." Earth Command remained silent. No attack, no message. Just a quiet signal. Alliance accepted. The danger had passed. Not through force, but through memory. Through one voice. Voice from the past and one queen's unshaken belief in it. They joined hands at the altar of stars. Not for war, not for show, but for peace. As the two worlds watched. As silence turned to celebration, the story ended where it had once begun. A boy, a girl. A promise made beneath alien skies, and a heart strong enough to keep it.